Welcome back to A Country Boy Can Cook. Today, bread pudding. Yeah, you don't see it a lot nowadays. I don't know why. I guess the new modern world thinks, oh, why would you cook stale bread? Basically, that's what bread pudding is. It's just leftover bread. It's not moldy, it's just leftover and dried out. And you make a pudding out of it. I grew up on that stuff. My mother made it probably once a week. We always look forward to it. You know, we didn't have a lot of money. My family didn't have a lot of money. We had a farm. We were farmers and ranchers. Let me tell you, you don't make a lot of money doing that. The only thing you make out of there is the mind of satisfaction. You get the satisfaction of growing crops in them from the seed to maturity, from the baby calves that are born till they're grown. The little Mustangs that we went to Mexico and picked up, got them to lead, got them sometimes tough to ride. Yeah, I've got a few scars from that. But this food brings back lots of memories. So I'm going to do bread pudding this morning. And I'm using cinnamon rolls. These are leftover cinnamon rolls. And I'll explain to you why I use cinnamon rolls. It goes back to when I was a kid. Let's get with the mixture here. So you can see I've got a package. I've eaten a couple of cinnamon rolls out of there, just regular ones, but I took a knife and just scored the rest into little cubes. I'm going to take 2 eggs. What you're going to make is a custard. If you've never made bread pudding, you've got to make a custard. A custard is the same thing that you put on French toast. Have you ever made French toast? You know, eggs and milk. You might want to put a little vanilla in it, a little cinnamon in it. Touch of vanilla. I use Watkins. They were our families, my grandmothers on both sides. The Watkins, there used to be a guy that came around out in the country when there wasn't supermarkets, and that's just a touch of vanilla. And he was a Watkins dealer. I think he sold soap and everything else. So, let me get a whisk here somewhere. Oh, I got a new whisk. One of my admirers gave this to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend these eggs up. And most that I've ever seen, bread puddings are made with egg and milk and sugar, and of course vanilla. Now this does a good job. But we're going to use evaporated sweetened condensed milk. Most people know this by Eagle brand, lots of different names. I'm just going to pour that in there. I didn't cut the lid all the way across. Take this lid out of here now. I've had this sitting over on the stove, and I've got my oven going to bake this in. So it's pretty warm. It's coming out pretty good. And this recipe does not, I don't put any added sugar to it because it's got the sweetened condensed milk, which is really sweet. So you're going to blend that up. And I've done this recipe again. I've got one microwave bread pudding. where I took cinnamon toast. Now you need more water added to this because this is really thick. So what I did before is added 1 can of Eagle brand and 2 cans of water. And of course I'm putting in here to wash the leftover at. That seemed to be the perfect mixture. I'm making a mess here. Hey, if you ain't messing, you ain't cooking. What can I say? Stand up here and get this mixed. You just want to make sure it's mixed up really good. I believe that is. You see I'm standing up this morning. I went yesterday and had my knees injected with, I don't remember the name of it, it's a gel substance. It kind of replaces the lubrication in your joints. My lubrication was about 20 quarts down. It was dry. So they injected this gel. I can't remember the name of the gel. If I think of it, I'll put it on the screen. And matter of fact, I did a video. They let me video the whole thing. So if you've got knee problems, of course it's just the second day in. But yesterday was the first time in 20 years I could walk with no pain in my knees. I'm still weak coming from my heart event. Don't get me wrong, I ain't cured this morning. But at least that's one problem out of the way. My knees are, as my eyes itching here, my knees don't hurt so bad. Matter of fact, they don't hurt at all. Got up this morning, they were a little stiff because I had used them. They told me to take it easy. Well, I took it easy not. And I went out and got the trash can from the street and walked it in, no problem. We went out to eat, no problem. So, and my knees didn't hurt. When I went to bed last night, I was so amazed, and no pain, no knee pain. So if you've got knee pain and you want to, I've got it. It's showing the injection into the knee with the needle about 2 inches long. If you don't want to watch that, don't shut your eyes during that time. But it's just amazing treatment, and it's really worked so far. Knock on wood for me. So anyway. Take this custard, set it off to the side. This is just the same thing I do when I'm making French toast. I make a custard, I tip my bread into it on both sides, let it soak up if it's thick bread, and let's see here. Get these cinnamon roll chunks out of here. Now my mother made traditional bread pudding. It would have biscuits, leftover toast, leftover bread that had got a little stale. But we had cinnamon rolls. My favorite cinnamon roll was, as a kid, was Mrs. Bear's. I don't know if they were just a local bakery. They're still around. And but they came in those white cellophane packages. Oh my God, they were great. So I've got a little casserole pan, an old Corningware. Let me move stuff around so you can see this. So I'm just going to take my chunks of cinnamon roll and put them into the casserole pan. Anyway, I do this because I don't know. I've never made cinnamon roll bread pudding. I mean, I know it'll work. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know how many pieces to put in here to fill this up. And I'm not going to waste it and have to put too much, and then it'd be too soggy or not enough. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to fill this up and then put a little bit more. Looks like it's going to take about everything that I had. Everything except this last cinnamon roll. I wonder what'll happen a bit. I guess it'll just sit there and be lonely. Not. It'll be my breakfast. And I'm gonna get a little bite of this. These are being made for a couple of friends of ours. Get this last boy out of the way over here. So I'm just going to level off everything. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to pour this custard over it. I can tell you one thing that's going to be perfect though. It's the taste. It's going to be wonderful. I can imagine the taste. So I've got my custard here. I'm going to just slowly pour this over this. I want it to soak it up. Just good. Just about going to take all of it. Just take and move your bread around and make sure it's being covered so it can get in and soak up the goodie. Soak up that pudding. That's it, boys and girls. There it is. I'm going to let it sit here for about, probably about 5 minutes and really soak it up. Don't want any dry pockets. And I'm going to put it into an oven at 350 degrees. I'll bring you back after I get it in the oven and I'll tell you about my cinnamon roll story as a kid. Cinnamon rolls and feeding hogs and cows and horses. Feeding them cinnamon rolls actually, and bread. Getting ready to put this in the oven. I'm going to take and mush it all down in here. It's soaked up everything it can. This whisk is perfect for this. Into the oven probably for about 35 minutes. I'll just check it along the way. I just want this set so when I move it, there's no jiggle like that. It sets. I'll check the internal temperature, about 160. It'll be dried out. I'll bring you back for that as we check it and as we go along. Alright, it's in the oven. I've got it set for the first time for 25 minutes. I just want it cooked until when you go over and scoot it around, there's no jiggle. I mean, if the whole thing jiggles together, that's good, but no liquid. I may check it with a toothpick, but you'll know when it's done. You can check it with a toothpick and it comes out clean. That's always a good sign. I use a thermometer at 160. I'll just turn the oven off and leave it in there and let it finish cooking. It doesn't have to brown a lot. It's got the cinnamon rolls in it. I didn't put any extra cinnamon or sugar on top. It's going to be good. And once again, I was going to tell Alex, one of my subscribers, got that whisk, that multicolored whisk for me. I do appreciate it. It works wonderful. I hope you see this video so you'll know that I used it. Also, what else? Oh, I was going to tell you about the cinnamon roll story. So, back in the late 50s when we moved to the country out of the big town of Dallas, Texas, and actually we lived in a suburb of Dallas. We had horses and cattle there even. Little town of Farmers Branch, Texas. But my dad wanted to go back. Found out the farm that he was raised on, it was big. It split into two sections owned by a brother and sister, and the sister part was open. They had a house on it. It needed lots of work, fencing and stuff. So Dad made a deal with the lady, and we moved to Beverly. Well, we moved to Argyle. We looked like the grapes of wrath moving up there. A couple old cars, a pickup, and horses and cattle, and an old. We had a 2-horse trailer, bumper pull, and we had a 48 Chevrolet to pull it by. So we get up there, and our neighbors, which my dad knew everybody. My aunt, his sister, lived across the street, like a half a mile down. That's the closest house. Excuse me. And so the neighbor on the other side of us, he had about 200 acres, and he raised hogs to sell, for slaughter hogs. And he was telling Dad that once a week he would go to Dallas to Mrs. Baird's Bakery, the same one that made the cinnamon rolls. And he would take a trailer down there. He had a big cattle trailer and a pickup to pull it with. He would take it down there, and they would fill it up full of bread products, just for like $10 or $5. I mean, it's still, some were open packages, some had never been opened. Some was stale, some was moldy. I don't know I doubt that they do that now because of government regulations, but they did then. So Dad got the bright idea. He'd take his, he had a 58 Chevrolet pickup by then, and he would take it in the horse trailer, and we would go down there. We'd fill that 2-horse trailer just full. It would be packed in of everything from donuts to bread to cinnamon rolls. And then in the back of the bed, with no tarping or anything like that, we'd throw those loaves of bread and smash them down. And we'd get back to the house, and we had a feed bin, and next to our feed bin was an open one. And we would take and dump all that bread product in there. And then when Dad was, or when I said Dad, when I was, both of us were feeding the cattle and the horses and the pork as pig is running around, we would feed the bread products to them. They loved it. Now the guy down the street, he was a kind of an old crusty guy. He'd take those loaves of bread and just throw the loaves out there. You'd drive by his place, and plastic, they was cellophane back then, all up on the fences, and I guess the pigs were eating. I don't know. Dad said, "Now we're gonna open up." We had a big old butcher knife that was sharp. We'd chop that stuff out and throw it. We may have lived in the country, but we wasn't gonna be no messy mess with paper and stuff everywhere. And so we'd every once in a while find some cinnamon rolls and some cinnamon bread, raisin cinnamon bread. And for some reason, it wouldn't mold. You could open it up and smell it. It smelled and tasted. Yeah, we tasted, just like it did when it was on the shelf. It must be something about the cinnamon preserves. I'm not sure about that, but I got a feeling. Because back in the olden days, when they were preserving people in the tombs, there was cinnamon and other herbs like that put in with the body. So maybe it's the cinnamon. Maybe if I eat enough cinnamon, maybe it'll preserve me. So anyway, we would get those out, and it was a great snack. Me and my buddies would be out fishing at the pond or at a big tree house down there. I mean, we were young. I mean, I was 10 years old, 8 years old. So my love of cinnamon rolls came around, and then of course Mother would buy fresh. She wouldn't eat no stuff out of the barn. Mrs. Baird's cinnamon roll, and like on Christmas morning, she'd have those early because they'd be, Santa Claus had already been there and put stuff under the tree, and she'd have a big old pot of hot chocolate and cinnamon rolls as the first round while we were opening gifts. and settling down, and then we would have breakfast and go check on the cattle and horses. You know, so if you run a if you have a ranch or a farm, there ain't no off time. You've always got something to do. It may be in the middle of the night if some of your cattle have got out. It may be early in the morning. You may be stretching fence. You may be planting. There's always something to do. So anyway, my love is cinnamon rolls. That's probably why I grew up on them, and I still love the flavor and the taste. But we're going to make these for a couple of friends of mine. They're going to visit tomorrow, and I'll once that's baked, it'll create big chunks. You can actually cut a piece out, like square out of it. And I like it cold. I'll save a little bit for me, but most people like it. Heat it in the microwave for a minute and warm it up and eat with your coffee. It's so good. It's a great dessert. It's a great breakfast treat, but it's a great dessert anytime. So I'll bring you back when this gets closer, and we'll look in the oven and see if it's still jiggling. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. All right, let's check this. I came over and I looked at it one time, and as you can see, it was building, and it's not ready yet. It's still jiggly all over. Not set in the center, but I put a drip pan under because I was afraid it's going to come up and go over. But it's looking beautiful. It's got about 15 more minutes. I've reset the timer on it. I'll give you the total time here in a little bit. Let's check this. I think it's close to being ready. Remember, we're going to check the jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Looks like the whole thing is jiggling, jiggling. Looks like a big souffle. Let's see if this comes in. You know, I told you check it with a toothpick. See if it come out clean. It comes out clean, and it's about 200 degrees, so it's ready. Let's check this. It's deflating a little bit. I guess it was like a souffle. Wasn't meant to be, it was bread pudding. So let's check it again here. My Mr. Magic thermometer here. It was at 200 a while ago. It's 204. Y'all can't see that, but so it's ready. Let's get a bite of this. It's deflated a little bit. I knew it would. That is no problem. It's a bread pudding, not a souffle, even though it looks like that French word souffle. It's still warm. I just want a little taste. Came out good and clean. It's cooked. She's gonna be good. She sure is pretty. Let's get a bite. Melt in your mouth goodness. My goodness. It's cooked. It's really creamy. It's cooked and it's really creamy. Oh my God, it's great. I gotta have another bite. Bon appetit. That's so good. I'm gonna have one more bite and then I gotta put this thing up. I won't have enough to give my friends. I want to thank you for being here on my channel. I really appreciate it. If you can, if you like my videos and you like my recipes, please share them. share them with your friends. Say, hey, here's an old dude that he has really good recipes. There ain't a whole lot of fluff and funny stuff going on. I'm too old for that. Just an old country boy that likes to cook and sharing recipes and stories. So thank you for being here. Thanks for following me. Thanks for helping make my channel where it's at today. Old dude is out of here.